To all the gang members in St. Louis that lie and say y'all in the gang, please stop lying. That shit was dead 15 years ago. I know the truth because all the gangsters that's not dead in the state of Missouri, they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be bothered. You know why? Because they family members are dead for real. They dead for real. And again, all gangsters don't die. Some live to tell a story. If you don't have a family member in your household that can tell you a real story from a gangster, find something else to do with your life. I did.
You looking stupid, this a stick up, this a robbery. Gas in the dust on your ass, you behind me. Call all your clique while you looking, trying to find me. Never catching up on this bitch because I'm grimy. This is not a game, it's a phone check, ho. Playing with the queen, watch your ass go broke.
Alright, who I'm sitting with today?
Local legend, Sexyy Red.
Alright. And what part of St. Louis did you grow up in?
North County.
Alright, how was it growing up in North County for you?
To me, I say faithful.
What years was you around, like 10 years old? How was St. Louis back then in them days?
I started about, I'll say before 10. It started birth. Because my life, the way I live my life, is from other people that paved the way for me. So I started birth. I give homage at birth, not 10. Because my family already were working people in the community, good citizens, as well as I had family members that was very dominant in St. Louis. And they was good at what they do. So I got a little bit of both worlds, and it made me at birth.
Alright, so what's some of the stuff that you saw growing up around, in your younger days?
Being honest with you, I grew up watching a lot of black owners in North County actually own their own property. They was gardening in their own yards. They was taking grandchildren to church every Sunday, no matter what was going on Saturday night. You was comfortable at the skating rink because the people that was there were people that worked and lived in the community. We were comfortable with our police department. I support them to the fullest, any North County co-op. Without them, I wouldn't be me today and still be here, because it is some good cops and people in good city halls that care about us too. So again, I had all that type of fundamental in my life that got me where I'm at, and I thank them for it. So I got to see a little bit of both of everything. You know what I'm saying? I was winning music shows since I was 7. By the time I was 10, I won at school with Magic 108 DJ Cut. So I was one of the first kids in St. Louis that had won a trip to Florida back then, when kids weren't even thinking about writing music down. I started doing poems and stuff. And we had a lot of house parties because our family had clubs and different venues, spots, and social clubs. So the party continued at home. So I kind of grew up doing some of the same things I was taught. I made $1 at an early age. I was charging $1 to get in to play and skate in my basement. We had a marble basement floor. So if you couldn't make the skate king, you could pay K Red. Skate in my house all day for $1.50.
Alright, so when you used to do poems, when did it go to rap, being a rapper?
I wrote my first poem for Laurent Floyd. It was a kid that I had a relationship with that just moved in our neighborhood. He died, one of the first black kids that died in a car accident in Forest Park. And I had wrote him a poem, Teardrops Are Falling. And from that chaos, Hitman T Big Brother, not the one from the radio station, the original Chaos in St. Louis. picked me up one day going to the Chinaman as a little kid. And he was like, say that poem that you said at the funeral. I did. And then he just started asking me, could I write more stuff? So I started writing from that to write music for myself and friends. And they just started riding me around St. Louis. You know, like, I bet this pit bull in the backseat can beat you in anybody's set in St. Louis. I can say I'm about the only female that went to everybody's neighborhood. And people thought they was finna battle with a guy, and chaos pulled me out the car. And every time I won, because I knew people in every neighborhood, even as a kid. So I put names in music that niggas was scared to talk about. Figures in music, and I talked about things that I knew was true. That, again, even if you did that, back then you wasn't able to tell nobody. You know, and if you got away with it, you got away. But the way I spoke it in music, some people appreciate it. It's kind of how you do stuff.
So how old was you around that time? What years was that?
At that time, I was 12. 12. And 11, I was stealing Cadillacs. So I stole more cars in St. Louis than any average car thief. And I'm standing on that. At the time when we was doing that, I believe my generation is the generation that made them bring cameras, that started locking kids up after 24 hours of your vehicle being stolen. At first, they would look for cars for months, but they really wasn't looking for them. If they was in their neighborhood and you just so happened to have an accident and you got caught, you got caught. Well, I was a little smarter, so I re-tagged my own cars, I painted them, and I drove them like the elders or people in other neighborhoods I seen riding past me, driving slowly, not wasting gas, and staying to the miles, you know, not speeding and stuff. So I kind of didn't get caught a lot until I would go pick up boys and try to teach boys how to steal cars. They couldn't drive right. They didn't know how to break them down. So that's when I developed the name Break 'em Down Betty. By then I was 15. And by that time I had already did, if you added up, 5 years in juvenile system, St. Louis County and City.
Going to juvenile for back then.
Stealing cars, because in the end, if they not yours and you finally got caught, you would do some type of time. And when I wasn't doing that, I was gang fighting. The Bloods and Crips that just came out, everybody talk about it when we all seen the movie Colors. The real gang members in St. Louis, if it wasn't for that movie Colors, we all got the same story if you actually talk to the real gang members in St. Louis. Colors and the guys, Big Freeze and Little Freeze now, you know, that came from LA. I was one of the young ladies that got a chance to meet them too, you know. And they only kind of messed with a few people in St. Louis, not so much everybody. So I was honored to meet them too. And when they came, I had already had a group at school, Garfield Elementary, called the Villains and the Villets. My favorite colors was already red and black, because that was my grandmother's social club color. Max Lounge on Grand and St. Louis Avenue. And so when the Bloods came out, we was automatically Bloods. And we started tying into all the different Bloods that we knew all over the United States. So we really wasn't just messing with people in St. Louis.
So what's some of the other cities that y'all reached out to?
California first. I stayed up there for 6 years. Kansas City. The state of Kansas, not Missouri. Illinois. Mostly GDs was coming down here from Chicago and dealing with people in Illinois more so. So I would say that's it. Memphis, you know what I'm saying? Because again, Bloods and Crips came from West Coast. So anybody that claim it and get to talking about it down south or Midwest, they liars. If you didn't have a family member in the West Coast that started Bloods and Crips, or you weren't trafficking drugs or jewelry or weapons, then you was a liar. That's facts.
Yeah, I believe that. Alright, so what was your, like, I heard about different people like getting jumped in. Did you have to get jumped in or anything?
No. And I can say, if we talking about real gang members again in St. Louis, I'm the only female that did not get jumped in because we started 6-1 block in our basement. And I was the only girl, and still is, that's original out the 8 of us. So now my brother couldn't whoop my ass. Now my cousins couldn't whoop my ass. So I watched and helped jump other people into it. And but nobody put their hands on me. So what I had to do to prove my stripes and get some, I had to go in St. Louis and do other things. I was the biggest spray painter when Woolworths was still open. After I get through doing my chores and earn my money, I would go and buy spray paint, bags and bags, as much as I can get. And I was the young lady that put my set on everybody's set in St. Louis. So again, when they was looking for guys, it was Sexyy Red by herself. I don't have nothing to hide.
So did any of the guys back then think that K Red was a dude when they just saw a name on the wall?
Being honest, a lot of them did. To this day, you have a lot of people in St. Louis that wanted to and tried to call themselves K Red, but I am the only and original Miss K Red. And a lot of the guys call me K Red, because that's just short for Miss K Red. But with music, I've always been Miss K Red, MS.K-R-E-D.
So the gang that you claimed, the Blood, what set was y'all claiming?
I'm neighborhood Pyru 108th Street, and I'm branded with 56 gang tattoos. Everybody else getting the sleeves and the arms and the legs done with the lips, flowers, baby daddy names. All 56 of mine are gang affiliated.
So when y'all started to branch, because most gangs in St. Louis at one point started to leave the California way and started to bang their own set in St. Louis. What did y'all become?
Our set was 6-1 block. We the only 6-1 block in Pond Line. And honestly, we the only set in Pond Line that was all Bloods in our sets. We were surrounded by nothing but Crips. If you want to be honest with our community, you have Bloods and Crips in everybody's community, but Pond Line was known for all Crips. Before that, they was known for the original Darby Rangers. And my mom's generation came after my aunt generation. She was original Darby Ranger, R.P. Charlene Isaac. She was original Darby Ranger. And my mama a little younger. So they were the first ones that started PLO. Then you had the Funk Boys. And they were a little bit more positive. I think, with their groups and what they was doing, they was always doing something community bounded. You know what I'm saying? In our neighborhood, even our group, usually when you was mostly fighting, we was fighting other people out the neighborhood. People that was coming in neighborhoods from all different sides, and they would try to sneak in Pond Line. If you from Paysdale and you trying to go down by Stratford, you got to go through 6-1 block. So we caught them first. Anybody that was coming from Northwood side and they trying to come over to our side to get to the Killing side that way or down Jenny Station Road, period, you hit Birchie, you coming through 6-1 block. Honestly, the only people we respected was the OG Crips on our side. We respected them because we had to see them first. When we came out of our house, we was the first house on the street. We already grew up with them. We knew everybody's family from birth. So no matter what gang you claim, the number one rule was for us not to fight them. So you had Crips that's kind of fighting each other, and then they started 6 Deuce over on Killing. A lot of people don't talk about that. That was the last group really to form in Pond Line. Where Michael Brown from? They hung with us on all the different sides of Pond Line. But gangsta them, they OGs was always OGs over there on their side. But when you want to talk deep about Blood and Crip, you got Smoke Blood now, Gangsta Lil Brother. Lorenzo and them. But before them, don't nobody never give props to Scooby and Squeaky now. So, there was a lot of guys over there that was doing positive stuff before somebody wanted to be in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And as gangs start forming in the neighborhood, those type of guys that was already doing good stuff, but you sitting right there or you live right next door to where the guns starting to shoot or cars getting stolen now, they slowly start moving out of our neighborhood. Pond Line was a neighborhood for families again that started going towards the county that had money and was owning and buying property and, getting businesses, to turn over for family. So it slowly came through the community.
So would you say before the gang, so did the gangs or the drugs hit Pine Line first?
Before what neighborhood?
No, did the guns and the drugs hit Pine Line? Did the drugs
The
hit
drugs.
first?
The drugs hit Pine Line before gangs. And my story, my mom, she hustled a little bit different than Dad. And one day, we wanted a TV, me and my brother. She bought it. So we slept in the living room that night so that we can watch it. We woke up, it was gone. And before we started crying, my mama was upset. And it's my testimony. So she threw her stuff on the table and she split it. I was 11 then. We asked her what she was doing and she told me, she said, if y'all want another TV, she said, it's your cut. Go get you one. And your cousin gonna help you. And she took her cut to the bathroom. And that's when we realized and started understanding parents of selling as the drugs coming into our community to us children learning. Because we wanted what our parents had. If that's how we can get a TV, Sexyy Red had multiple. So I feel like everybody needed one. And that kept me hustling.
Alright, so did you ever do any prison time during your hustling days back then?
I never made it to the penitentiary. But again, I'm probably one of the only women in St. Louis that know everybody that went there. And I say that because while I was in group homes and juveniles for the petty crimes that I was committing, because again, it was time for me to be tried as an adult, I just didn't commit those crimes no more. I kind of learned from my mistakes, and that's my message. No matter what we're talking about, I'm out here and trying to do things different now, and I'm trying to teach youngsters that even if you do that, you may not make it like that. I watched everybody die in order for me to make it. The world different now, you know what I'm saying? So when it came to that, after I got smacked on my hand so many times, and a nun came to my court hearing for her vehicle, and she pulled a patch off her eye and she showed it to me, and it broke my heart. I was always a kid that respected my elders no matter what I did with my friends in the street. So when I seen the white lady eye, and she told me somebody had just stole the same vehicle that I took, and she had just got it back, but the young man had shot her in the eye. She got her car back, they found him. But I ended up stealing that same car to go to a funeral like 2 or 3 weeks later, I guess. And I got caught. And her thing was she just wanted to meet the kid this time since she didn't get to see the last kid that stole her car and show them what happened to her. And when I seen that, it kind of messed my head up. I didn't want nobody to die. I didn't want to hurt nobody. I just wanted to ride because my mama was the only one that didn't have transportation out of her and her siblings. So no, I don't feel like nobody had to die to have it. And that turned my life around. After that, I bought a Cadillac.
So what would you say to the young girls that's out here that need somebody to talk to them?
Call Sexyy Red. That's what I say, because When I talk, I speak facts, I speak truth. And that's one reason why I do have the respect of St. Louis that I have. I don't fear nobody but my mom and God. She did bring me in this world, she will take me out. And a lot of the younger women in their generations nowadays, I'll say anybody under 45 to me, they don't have no self-respect and they don't have none for their parents. There's no way in hell you can say you somebody if you can't remember the person that has you. There's no way in hell you can say you're going to be somebody if you don't remember who paved the way for you. You ain't have no way. There's no such thing as I. And I learned that at a young age. And that's what got me by all my life. I remembered, even though I'm the only daughter, today I'm the only child. I've been the only child for 8 years. I only had one sibling on my mom's side. On my dad, I'm the oldest. But the point is, I knew and I was told and I was showed as a child that I was not alone. I always had God, I always prayed, and I did come from a family of grandparents and a mom in the household. I do understand the difference of a stepdaddy taking care of you and your real father, born and raised around the corner. So, you know, all of the stuff that the young girls talk about, what they parents didn't do for them, I ain't got no excuse. My mama sold dope and then I sold dope. But my mama been clean over 20 years for selling, longer, using, 20. She's still alive today. And I'm more grateful for that because without my mama testimony, without her mother testimony, again, I wouldn't have had nowhere to start. So to be able to go through some of the things with her that she was facing in her life, by me being around her and watching my mama go through those programs, complete those programs, I wanted to be a part of those programs. I was one of the first kids they took with the state of Missouri. I would say they called nowadays test dummies. They made programs to see how kids was going to work with their parents in and out of drug treatment and going through, you know, Alcohol Anonymous and stuff. And I didn't miss a meeting. I was one of the first kids at South Point Medical Building on the South Side, and I was the only female, and I was 12 years old. So I went through hell. The white boys from Poplar Bluff wanted to rape me. They was trying to come in my room and fight. People was giving me vitamins when I didn't take no medication at home. And they kept telling me I needed a vitamin, and I was only there because, you know, I was going through the program with my mom. But they let me come into the meetings. So I got a chance to finally talk to my mama, and there was other parents in there. They kids didn't come. They kids probably wasn't a part of their life or got taken from other family members. But it was the first time where my mama had to shut up, and we got a chance to tell her how we felt from her reactions of being on drugs. It affects everybody around you. And we got a chance to tell her how we felt starting to sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, for sure.
Nowadays, you know, I have kids. So, again, I gave the drug selling up years ago. And I got a song called Leave the Game Alone. Again, people be listening to music, but mine is very testimonial. And if you check that video out, Leave the Game Alone, it tells you how I was trying to change my life even with music. And more people was frustrating to me because of the game, but they weren't listening to my message. I've done all of that. Now I'm trying to go this way, and if you can support me doing bad, support me walking the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Follow me this way. So, you know, that's my message to the girls. You don't have to be promiscuous to make it when it comes to music. I seen my meal ticket in music. I made it all the way to the top. But it was things that I was not doing in St. Louis through music or gangs that you could not pay me to do with the music industry now. And it ain't got nothing to do with the P. Diddy them stuff. It's been going on. It's been going on. And I'm glad that, and I'm grateful that I was respected through it all. They would say, you know, after the party, after we do a concert or something, everybody know K. Red drink coffee. So you couldn't put nothing in my cup. I don't drink liquor. I didn't need a glass of wine. So yeah, I was always sitting in the room by the door while everybody else was mingling. Because I was always the one from out of town. You know what I'm saying? So, I paid attention to my surroundings. I didn't run off when I went out of town to do shows. I took people with me. Sometimes you got to pay for other people to go. You see what I'm saying? So other people can see your dream. Sometimes your dream ain't shit unless somebody right there with you. So I experienced that too. But I paid my way through it all.
So how you feel about the St. Louis scene with the music right now?
I barely listen to it because it don't have no meaning to it. So I mostly, listen to gospel and R&B and blues.
Alright, so what about Sexyy Red?
When you talk about her, the truth, Mark Wells, Pine Line, M-Dub. He owned Midwest Bosses and another group. And K-Red was the first lady with that group, but I also owned Cat Cash Entertainment, and I had my record label first. A lot of guys in my neighborhood wanted to do a record label because they seen K-Red making it. So if a girl can make it, I can make it. K-Red, can you hook me up with somebody? But again, it's what you do to make them allow you to stay. And I let her plan my hair when me and Mark Wells was having business meetings in the basement on Northwoods. That's when she and her mother first seen me. And she would open the door for me, when I would come over, and I thought the baby was cute. I was the only girl in St. Louis who read her for 30 years. I got that from out of town, doing stuff in California, watching the go-go people. They had rainbow color hair and different colors. And I grabbed me some red and came back. None of the beauty shops down here had it, beauty supplies, none of the Chinese people. I took my money to them and showed it to them, and they walked me in the back of their store, and they started ordering red hair out of their books that they never let black people see because I was spending $2,000 for them to order it. And they would order enough for it to last for me when I go back out of town for 3 or 4 months to do my music. So as I started coming back into St. Louis, I started seeing different people with red hair. And the more I seen it, I started putting a little black in it, a little orange in it, spicing it up and making it a little different, because by the time I seen them with it, I made it. And that's what I think about her. And the message of Sexyy Red, you don't have to do human centipedes on stages to make it. Come when your city call you, even if you brought a whole team. Come for your city when they call you. Because Miss K-Red was the only one that wanted to do something about that storm when you talk about artists. I was the first one from St. Louis County to call and ask what could I do for the city. I opened up a shelter for 30 days on 3741 Page. And I fed people everything that nobody else had in their line in St. Louis. We was frying chicken wings and cooking barbecue, plus making whole plates for them. And I had $20,000 worth of hair weave, accessories, clothes, shoes, everything. But I also really, really badly wanted to do a shelter, and I wanted to get somebody to come to St. Louis with me and do a free concert and sing to my city out of all the money I've paid to all of these celebrities in other states. For the first time, I had reached out and asked them could they help me help my city, and they failed me. So I reached out to a white company, because sometimes if you can't do it right, it don't help to ask for help. So I reached out to Clayco, one of the biggest construction companies down here in St. Louis. I should have called J.S. Alberici, because they family over in Hillsdale, over to Northwoods, they've been supporting St. Louis County community for years. So I should have stayed with our own people in development in our community. But we reached out to Clayco. He took all my information, lied to me, and told me that he was going to do that concert here with St. Louis for the storm we had in June. He took my information, then he had somebody in his team reach out to Sexyy Red. 2 of them got canceled. Again, we got played. I'm not mad at her, but she had to get management and somebody else to give her permission to help her city when K-Red was already here. And remember, this is something that I do all year round. Whether we had a storm or whether somebody's roof fell in. K-Red was already here. So we just had the concert. Not during the storm time, but St. Louis said that's the best storm relief we had. I saluted because she finally came. But Sexyy Red, your city needs you more. Not just at Prince Beauty Supply. You getting ganked. Now that you are where you supposed to be, where K-Red paved the way for y'all to be, start doing something with black people. Why would you keep on letting the Iraqi and Page deal make all that money off red hair that I started doing? See, the Chinese people, they started giving me 50% off with my tax ID. Learn to do something right with it. Get other people to support black-owned business. K-Red had a black beauty supply on the corner of Riverview and Broadway for 6 years. I had everybody but black people support me. Not because I didn't want it, plus I gave away free stuff. I'm also the one that started the bags, $25, $50, $100. And in my store, you can get $200 outfits. You got a whole pair of shoes and a $200 wig to go with it if you can stuff that in your bag. Prince not doing that. Stop letting other people get money that should be in black pockets. Once we make it in St. Louis, half of us run to somewhere else. Or we forget where we came from. K-Red started in North County. I can't do nothing for nobody without remembering where I came from. Sexy, next time you come, do it for your people. Give your mama the first black, not first black, but the second black beauty supplier in St. Louis. Not in Fenton, but in St. Louis. Make a difference right here. Do it for the city. I was doing it for everybody. Let's do it together. Right now, we at the new building. The venue, 9800 Halls Ferry, the former ambassador. So what God can do for people, you never know. I don't do music no more because I'm helping other people fulfill their dreams through it. Find something to do for somebody else that can keep you great. Not go up and down, but continue to do for others. And my message to the Lord, I always remember you, if you don't forget where you came from. To all the gang members in St. Louis that lie and say y'all in the gang, please stop lying. That shit was dead 15 years ago. I know the truth because all the gangsters that's not dead in the state of Missouri, they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be bothered. You know why? Because they family members are dead for real. They dead for real. And again, all gangsters don't die. Some live to tell a story. If you don't have a family member in your household that can tell you a real story from a gangster, find something else to do with your life. I did.